And do you guys know that migraine is actually the number one cause of disability in women under 50? It is the disease that is the most likely to make it so we can't earn our own money, we can't raise our own kids, take care of our own kids because we're stuck in bed with a migraine. So I feel like this is a huge problem that is massively under-recognized, and we have not gotten women the resources that they need to really solve that problem. What do you think is the biggest challenge that people with migraines face? Ah, invisible disability. Ooh, that's really good. I feel like, especially as women, there's this kind of, oh, it's just a headache. Why can't you still, get dinner on the table, take the kids to soccer, show up at work, do all the things that we are expected to do? Says not knowing when you will get one, hard to plan around it. I'm curious, does that make you just want to not plan things? Because sometimes it gets to that point for people.
Yeah, I tend to not want to plan big.
Thanks for sharing. I think that's a common problem. I bet a lot of people on the call really resonate with that. This is the feeling of missing out on life and important events. Yep.
Yeah, I'm a mom. I have five kids, and I feel like I miss out on a lot of important events for the kids, and I'm really dependent on other people taking care of them.
Yeah,
So
that's having a huge impact on your life. I am an MD. I trained at Stanford, ran a private practice, took care of people with headaches for, 30 years. And what's happened in mainstream neurology is that it has become pharma driven. Pharma and device, let me correct that. Pharma and device driven. Those are the only solutions we offer people anymore. We are very fixated on, oh, you have migraine, let me give you a pill for that. Oh, you have anxiety, let me give you a pill for that. Oh, you have trouble sleeping, let me give you a pill for that. Let me give you something for your gut symptoms. And nobody's taking that deeper step and figuring out what is going on under the surface that is manifesting as all these different symptoms in your body. And that is actually where the fascinating cutting edge research is happening. And that's part of what I want to share with you guys tonight, because it's incredibly empowering information to have. All right, so what are these hidden problems that I'm talking about that are going on under the surface? Number one, nutrient deficiencies. Even if you eat really well, because I feel like people with migraine do pay a lot of attention to what they eat. They're trying to avoid triggers. They've tried every diet under the sun, right? But despite all that, I see nutrient deficiencies in 95% of the people I work with. So there are 5 to 10 key nutrients that the brain needs in order to function. And if you don't have optimal levels of those nutrients, and notice I'm saying optimal, not normal, you got to be in the ideal range, then this problem will continue to make your headaches or migraines worse than they need to be. I just want to give you an example of this. So this study showed that increasing omega-3 levels by eating fish every day was shown to cut headaches in half in 3 months. 3 months. This was published in May of 2021, and it really brought this whole omegas and migraine issue front and center. They did in this study, you guys, is they gave people 4 to 8 ounces of fish to eat every day. And they changed out the cooking oil that people were using. They replaced it with a combination of olive oil and macadamia nut oil. Why macadamia nut oil? Has anybody ever tried to cook with olive oil on high heat? Fills your kitchen up with smoke, right? It doesn't work. It's got a very low smoke point, so it can't tolerate high heat cooking, which you have to do. So they put some macadamia nut oil in it to raise the smoke point. So they gave that to people, said, use this for all your cooking for the next 3 months. And they delivered them fish every single day and asked them, did you eat your fish? Did you eat your fish? So it's 4 to 8 ounces of fish, you guys. It's like 8 ounces is probably the size in your palm. Okay. And I know it's a lot of fish. I see the face. And so that's what they had people do every day for 3 months. But you know what? Their headaches dropped in half. So we are definitely onto something with this whole omega-3 thing here, right? So when you do lab testing and figure out who's low in omega-3s, those are obviously the people who are going to respond really well to a high omega-3 diet, right? They're deficient in it. They need it. We hardly ever do nutrient deficiency testing in mainstream neurology. And really, I think that the biggest challenge for those of us with migraine is trial and error. Why do I say that? Because trial and error wastes time. So we may try something for a couple of weeks that we don't even need, like a supplement or a diet. Like maybe you decide to try this fish every day thing. What if your omegas are great and you don't need it, right? Then you've just wasted time. So, or alternatively, maybe we try something for a couple of weeks that we do actually need. Maybe we do need those omegas, but we don't notice any benefit in terms of headache reduction because we have so many other hidden problems going on under the surface that we haven't fixed yet, that fixing just that one thing isn't enough to reduce our headaches. So then we give up on the fish every day thing, even though we need it, because we don't recognize the benefit in terms of what we see in our body. So here's my point. How about if we just test to see what we need to do, right? I mean, it's just lab testing. It exists technologically. All we have to do is just change our mindset about how we approach this in medicine and say, hey, let's dig under the surface and figure out what's going on. Yeah, so it's really important to make sure that we're getting most of our nutrients from your food. You cannot out supplement, you cannot supplement your way out of a bad diet. And I don't mean bad in the sense of like eating fast food every day. I just mean bad in the sense of it's not meeting your nutritional needs. It's really hard to supplement your way out of that. All right, problem number 2, the silent accumulation of toxins, which can actually be due to genetic problems with your detox pathways. Super easy to have that kind of testing done these days. And this was actually a huge part of my headaches. So it's important to me to tell you guys about what it was like. So I think that we tend to blame our brain fog and fatigue on our headaches, but it can actually be due to toxins instead. So what happens is we're like, oh, I think I'm getting a migraine. That's why I can't think today. Or, oh, I had a migraine yesterday. That's why I can't think today. But it might not be that at all. And once you clear out your toxins, all of that might go away and your headaches get a lot shorter and have a lot less impact on your life. So what toxins do is they actually wipe out our mitochondria. Okay, mitochondria make the energy for our cells. And the brain requires a ton of energy. I don't know if you guys have heard, but it takes up like a fifth of all of the energy needs of your entire body. And so you actually can't tell if you have accumulation of toxins unless you get tested, because a lot of times the symptoms are kind of non-specific and they just make you feel kind of bad, brain foggy, fatigued, stuff like that. And I want to show you guys here, mercury toxicity is a very commonly known cause of headaches, something that we never check for. This is my test results right here. I was high in mercury and arsenic. And I want you guys to know that you can fix this problem just by supporting your detox pathways. Your body has ways to get rid of toxins. You can increase the activity in the detox pathways that are already in your body. And there are foods and supplements that help you do this, lifestyle changes that you can do. And it takes time, but it does work. Here's my toxin levels after going through what I teach people in my courses. Now, I know that if you Google this, you'll find things like just drink celery juice for 3 days and that will eliminate your toxins. And man, I wish it was that simple. So here's the deal. Your body has pathways related to something called glutathione that help you eliminate toxins from your body. But it is a multi-step project that takes a month or two to make this actually happen. So anything you see out there on the internet, take this one supplement and it will detox you, or do this quick weekend detox. And it was like, that's nonsense. And I just, as an aside here, I want you guys to know, I think this is really important for everybody to know. We know that toxins can cause both Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. Now, my aunt just died of Parkinson's disease, and I bet you anything she had my same detox pathways, which don't work very well. And I just wonder, how things might have been different if we had known that and had been able to fix that in her. Alrighty, so let's move on to the third top hidden cause of headaches. And it's actually hormone imbalances, but this is a complicated story because did you know that hormone imbalances are actually one of the effects of chronic stress on the body? Yeah. So here's how it works. Now, you see this little diagram here. We've got one chemical up at the top called pregnenolone, and it can go down two different pathways. It can either go down the pathway that ends up making cortisol, or it can go down the pathway that ends up making estrogen. So the way you can think of it is that if your body's constantly under stress, maybe it's lifestyle stress, your job, or a relationship, something going on in your life, or maybe it's just the, constantly being in pain. We know that our body releases cortisol when we're having headaches and other kinds of pain. So if your body is constantly living in that cortisol pathway, then it becomes dominant. And as you can see, there's not enough of these chemicals left over to make your estrogen. So the reason that's a problem is that when you get your cycle, your estrogen drops off even more. And if your tank is already low, your body can't tolerate that. And so it's going to generate a headache. Now, I know you're probably rolling your eyes at me going, yeah, well, nothing I can do about it. Life is just stressful, but I want to empower you. I want you to know that there are things you absolutely can do. There's all these new devices, new meditation techniques. I love teaching yoga. It was a game changer for me. And so there really are ways for you to reverse the impact of stress on your body. They are learned strategies, and they're things you can do from home. Once you know what to do, you can do that for the rest of your life. So when you're in the fight or flight mode, you're over here living in the sympathetic part of the nervous system. And what you need to do is shift it over here towards the parasympathetic part. The parasympathetic part is the rest and digest part. Healing does not happen when you're in fight or flight. It only happens when you are in rest and digest. And so there are lots of different ways to shift your body over there. It could be yoga, meditation, nice walks, time in nature, like a lot of different ways that you can do this. But if you don't know that that's what the problem is, you're not going to do those things, right? You're just going to continue powering through your day trying to get stuff done because you have migraines and people don't understand what that really means, and you have to follow and you have to power through. So what do we need to do in order to get clarity around the hidden causes of migraines plus headaches? So I would say number one, we need more lab testing to find these hidden causes of migraines. And number two, we need science-backed strategies to fix what we find. And when we do those two things, that's when we get to migraine freedom. Now, I am not saying that migraine freedom is like, you can wave some magic wand and never have another migraine again, but it is quite reasonable to think that you can find problems that you can fix, and you can get to a point where your migraines don't really interfere with your day. You're not constantly having to take pills. You don't have to call out from work. You don't have to go to bed instead of being with your family, your kids, your friends. That is doable. I really, really want you to hear that. That is doable. It's possible. And I think that the most fascinating and empowering thing about this is that these are tools you can do from home. You can do this online. And here's one way you can do that. I run a course called Migraine Relief Code, and I've got an introductory course that I am just launching right here, right now on this call that I want to tell you guys about. So this course gives you clarity. You get a link to order the lab tests that you need to figure out if you have any of these hidden causes of headaches. You order the labs online and then go to a local quest for the lab draw. The cost, if you do it that way, is $169, or you can take that list to your doctor and try to run it through insurance. And you can repeat that testing anytime you want because you've got the link. You don't have to go to your doctor, ask for the tests, wonder if they're going to tell you yes or no, wonder if your insurance is even going to pay for it. You also get a labs manual that explains your results in detail, which you can download and keep for future reference so that you always know how to interpret those labs if you want to check down the road and see if they're normal now. And you get specific actionable solutions for the problems that you might find. This course also gives you community. You get access to a private Facebook group that is exclusively for students and graduates of the Migraine Relief Code online courses. And you get a small group coaching call with me. Now, I normally charge $497 for private coaching calls, but with this program, you get a small group coaching call for completely free with other students who have done the intro courses. You can ask me any questions you have about your labs or how to implement. This course also gives you discounts. Yeah, that's what we all want. Lab tests are actually 15% off. I negotiated that deal for you. And Cephali is actually 17% off. I've got a link in there for you if you want to try that. And you can credit the cost of this course towards any other course that you decide to take with me. Now, I've got a beta tester special running for this course. It's going to be $4.99, but right now it's only $2.99. I know that every time I launch a course, there might be a few blips along the way, even though I work really hard to make the course as good as it can be. So I want to offer you this beta tester special that is going on right now. So you get a significant discount off the cost of the course. And again, that link is migrainereliefcode.com/MRC-intro. Now, I do want to be fully transparent. There are some people who I feel like this course is not for you if any of these things are true for you. And I think if you want a passive solution, this is not the approach for you because you have to show up and do the work. This is obviously not the course for you if you're not willing to spend time and money to reduce your headaches. I think if you just want to go through your doctor and your insurance, then you're going to be stuck with solutions that are a decade old, which is fine. You know, if that works for you, great. But if that is not working for you, and you want a science-backed solution that is going to give you better results, then I think you're in a better position to think about doing this course. And I think that this course is also not for you if you want to mask your symptoms with a pill rather than fix the problems that are causing the headaches in the first place. I don't actually find this to be the case very often. I feel like most people with migraines are already trying to reduce their headaches in some way. We would all rather not take medications unless we really have to. And I think that the real value of this course is that it gives you a more precise solution based on what your labs tell you. All right, so one last time, here is the link for that class, migrainereliefcode.com/MRC-intro.